last record.
No, here's today's feedback report number 1. Righto, sir. We're looking today at wide face trouble. Does cause some difficulty, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
What happens if you get a lot of wide-faced people with faces considerably wider than their shoulders, overlapping and drooping down and so on, in one place?
I think they get aggressive.
What would happen there?
I mean, it'd have a collision all over, wouldn't it?
What, banging at the head level?
Yes.
Where would be the worst place for a large number of wide-faced people to conglomerate?
In a sort of a cul-de-sac, you know, for...
Facing which way? The blank end or the...
blank end.
And if you were in a window, say, overlooking it, medieval style, what would you see?
Well, it might panic a bit, you know.
Panic, turmoil?
Yes, that's right.
What about the ones at the front who are being crushed by the wide faces coming up behind them?
I think I just feel sad for them, really.
Would you offer up a prayer?
I probably said they are father.
What about wide-faced children taking exams? What problems could happen there?
Yes, that could be copying, you know, with cheating, really. They could look over the shoulder, you see.
Well, with the width of their face?
Yes.
What about a wide-faced child on a bicycle?
Well, the wind would blow them maybe onto the road. Catch the fires if it was too wide, like an umbrella.
What is a really bad width for a face?
I'd say if it was any more than 3 foot wide, it'd be probably dangerous.
And the ideal width for a face?
I'd say 2.
2
feet.
Okay, here's today's second feedback report. We're looking today at spherical cattle, making them round. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with that.
How would a spherical cow get around its pen?
Well, I should think you'd have to put some sort of netting round it to guide it.
So they could just go grip on the net?
That's right. You couldn't leave it in the field or anything like that.
Well, imagine if it was in a pen and the water was at the other end of the pen and it was thirsty. How would it manage?
Well, can they smell it?
Well, I suppose they'd have a nose on the circumference.
Well, is it? They've got to have some sort of a smell of it.
Let's assume they have.
They roll to it.
They'd roll towards it?
Yeah.
How would they actually manage to make themselves roll?
Muscles. Their own muscle strength inside them.
Would it be better off with a leg?
Well, I should think so. They could walk along just like a chicken, 2 legs.
Unless the legs were opposite sides, and then they would have to go around like a sort of a broken mine.
Well, it can go as a ball. If you had a ball and you put 2 legs to it, one either side of the ball.
Right, but if they were sticking out at the side, they'd be like sort of long, thin ears or something, and it would just bounce off the wall.
Well, then you're getting like something from outer space.
If you gave it 2 legs, would you have them side by side, or would you have them on opposite ends of the ball?
Side by side.
How far apart?
2 or 3 foot.
And what about if it was a milk cow?
There's a milk cow. Perhaps they might do a square one.
And if you saw a spherical cow and you had a gun about you, would you shoot it?
Yeah.
People tying knots in their faces, what do you think?
Well, obviously I'd say that they're totally disillusioned with society as they see it. And this is their method of showing it. But I do think that after a couple of years, they will regret having mutilated themselves.
Do you think the more knots, the worse?
Well, the bigger the number obviously displays a deeper resentment against society, I think.
Whereabouts do you think is the worst part of your face to have a knot?
I would say the lips.
Why would that be?
Well, the lips are so expressive of people. And even in, we say, a romance situation.
How would it affect a romantic situation to have a knot in your lips?
A very adverse effect.
Is it worse when people do it to each other or to themselves?
Well, if they do it to each other, I wonder if there's some form of kink sex involved.
What is Michael Jackson playing at trying to adopt a 4-year-old Hungarian child? I mean, come on, how much coke is in his head? I mean, he really thinks he can get away with it, doesn't he? And the fact is that, you know, marriage, adopting a kid, and boom, suddenly Geordie who? I mean, the secret staircase from his bedroom to where? You know, you've got to praise his effort, mind you. His next step will probably be running a council children's home in the UK or asking Macaulay Culkin to star in his next movie, Getting Off with Dad. We're looking today at furball atrocities. Do you think furball atrocities are good?
You mean swearing?
No, atrocities with furballs.
Yeah, I don't like it. Don't like it at all.
What do you think causes the increased incidence of furball atrocities?
I think it'd be the unemployment.
Somebody got no job, they're more likely to pick up a furball and bop someone over the head with it.
Yeah.
What do you think it feels like to be a victim on the receiving end of a furball?
Well, I've been one.
How did it feel?
Rotten.
How long does the pain last on average?
With my ear, it lasts about a couple of weeks.
I suppose the appalling thing is that furballs, even at very low speed, can do you some damage.
Could, yeah.
What sort of damage can they do you at low speed, pressed into your face?
Well, you could get shoved into your face. It could be flat nose.
I can't wait for the next record. But do you mind if I just pop in a feedback report?
No.
How do you feel about the recent rise of irresponsible saucepan behaviour?
I didn't know anything about that.
Saucepan, did you say? Some of them are quite heavy.
Yeah, especially the iron ones.
The iron ones.
The iron ones, yeah.
The iron ones.
Yes, definitely the iron ones.
Definitely the iron ones.
We wouldn't purchase the heavier gauge.
Because of the danger.
Yeah.
What to you would be irresponsibility around the area of a saucepan?
Well, the way you handle it, of course. I think they're very heavy, actually, aren't they? These cast iron, if that's what the ones we're talking about. The old black pots like they used to use.
And you shouldn't cast iron
No.
at people.
No.
You've got to stack it, isn't it?
Height above the ground is important.
Yes, definitely.
What could be the worst thing you think that could happen in the house due to irresponsible saucepan behaviour?
Well, if I had a heavy one on a shelving system, now it fell down, they'd do a bit of damage to one.
Do you think you'd ever get up again?
No.
And what's the maximum height above the ground that these things should be stored at anyway?
Eye level.
What do you think about taking a leaf out of the catering industry's book and attaching a couple of helium balloons so that if it fell off the shelf, it would come down slowly?
Yes, that's true.
How many balloons would you recommend?
5?
Noise attendants. Are they necessary?
Noise attendants?
It is said that there is too much noise at the moment. Noise attendants might be one solution.
Yeah, I think so, because it's very difficult to find a pub now that's not blasting out music.
How many noise attendants would you like to see?
Oh, about 2 or 3, I think.
2 or 3 per acre?
Yeah.
How much public money would you be prepared to see spent on noise attendants?
Oh, God. £10 million, something like that?
What colour uniform should they wear?
I would just say something like a pale blue blazer, something like that. So they've got to stand out, haven't they?
Should they have a little box to stand on if they were below a certain height?
I suppose so.
Or how big a box?
Well, about the size of a beer crate.
If they were to serve their function well, they couldn't really talk above the noise that was being made. Otherwise, they'd be making more noise themselves.
Yeah.
So what would you have them do?
Well, they probably have to flash a card and say, please.
What would be written on the card?
I am a noise attender. Please reduce the level of noise that is being manufactured in this area.
Are you surprised that your opinions agree almost exactly with those of the German ear doctor Herr Rigging in the Kopf?
No.
Before this thing slithers over the cliff, Michael St. John with the updated dance chart this week, and Peter Bainham throughout tonight's show is checking out the nation's towns.
We're looking at neck legislation. Would you bring it back?
Yes. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I just feel I would.
What harm goes down neck-wise these days?
But abuse.
Neck abuse?
Yeah, neck abuse.
Scarf abuse?
But tie abuse.
How high up should neck legislation be tabled?
But feet, cut the feet.
Necks on their own or anything else with them?
No, on their own.
What is the most important area to legislate in for necks?
Angle, disposition.
Angle and disposition?
Yeah.
What angle?
Well, I should imagine coming down, over.
Neck angle coming down over?
Yeah.
Can you put a number on it?
6.
News belching out at the moment. Smokers who don't inhale should be fined, says a new report. Not inhaling is a pathetic, unconvincing way of smoking, worthy only of prepubescent girls and beginners, say the Home Office. It's frankly embarrassing to see these weaksters pulling on a fag, holding the smoke in their mouth for a short while, then just blowing it out again. And there's to be a new campaign of posters featuring a wet-looking bloke being beaten up on the caption, "He didn't inhale the Jessie." Okay, Paul is going into a shop. While he's doing that, here's tonight's feedback report.
Tossing your head. What does it mean when you do it?
Tossing my head means you don't want to know.
Is it an outdated thing to do, toss your head?
We don't see so much of these days, do you? No.
So what distance would you say would the ideal distance for tossing your head?
Oh, I think 10 feet.
It'd be pointless doing it if they were further away.
Oh, I think so. Then they wouldn't know what the score, why you were tossing your head in the first place.
Exactly. And it might not carry.
No, of course it would. No.
So when you don't want to know, you toss your head.
Yeah. With a little gesture in my arms as well, yeah.
To accompany the departure of your head.
That's right, yeah.
And then you'd try and make your way home as normally as you could.
That's right, of course I would.
How's he doing? Yeah, Paul.
Oh.
Yeah, are you in a shop?
I'm in.
What are you doing?
I'm waiting.
You waiting in the queue?
Yeah.
What have you got with you?
Bread and peanut butter.
Right. And how far are you away from being served?
I'm next.
You're next?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come to me now.
All right. He's coming to you now?
Yeah.
Well, ask him if that bread has been used on animals, if it's been to kill animals.
Okay. Hi. This bread, has this been used on animals before I buy it? Has that been used on animals? It hasn't.
Ask him what's his turning circle.
What's the turning circle of this loaf, please? Before I buy it, I want to know what the turning circle is, please. Sorry? The turning circle. The loaf. The till's going crazy. What's going over there?
Ask him how much it will cost to service it.
How much is the service on this, please? How much will this thing cost to service? The loaf. 99 pence for a service? Ridiculously priced.
Yeah, what's the 0 to 60 on the loaf?
What's the 0 to 60 on the loaf, please? They don't know.
What about the...
Hang on a sec. Can you just say this into this phone, please? I'll take these if you could just say this into the phone, please.
Yeah, is it manual or automatic?
Is this manual? Yes, manual.
Can you just tell her to say manual right into the phone?
Can you just say manual for me, please? Sorry? They're not interested.
Okay, just ask them if they live in a citadel.
Is there any citadels available here for you to inhabit?
Okay, ask him if he's been to hell.
Oh my goodness.
Are they after you? Have you done the transaction?
The transaction is done, the change is in my hand.
Well, ask them if they've ever been to hell.
Have you ever been to hell, please? Hello? Have you? I'm not dead yet, so how can I be to hell?
Move.
I'm out of here, man.
All right, but just throw the bread back in as you go.
Of course I need it, man. This is my food. You don't pay me enough. Oh, God.
How did you feel?
I'm glad to be out of there. It's the same one as I went into before.
What, last week?
This Shaftesbury 7-Eleven.
You idiot.
I couldn't help it. That's the only one.
All right, go in there next week as well.
Oh, God bless you.
Bye.
Bye.